The 3 types of foods that you should avoid if you have acne. During my experience as an acne sufferer, I saw over 24 dermatologists, and I always wondered if food had a correlation to my acne. When I asked a lot of dermatologists, many said no, but some said yes. And as I started to manipulate and change my diet, I did notice huge changes. If you want to see a video on how changing my diet changed my skin, I will be glad to link you to that. But in this video, I want to talk about the 3 types of foods that you should avoid if you have acne, and how they are scientifically linked and proven to manipulating your hormones, your body, and therefore your skin. The first thing that we need to talk about is refined sugars. And the reason why is because refined sugar can actually fuel sebum in your skin. Remember that sebum is the oil that, when produced, lubricates the skin, helps to transport special nutrients, but is usually overactive in acne-prone skin. This sebum is also the food for the bacteria, the P. acnes bacteria, which is what takes over the face and causes blemishes. Now, the reason that this happens when we eat sugar is because when we consume that white sugar, our blood sugar levels spike. This spikes insulin, which is a fat-storing hormone. This also spikes IGF-1, which is a very inflammatory compound. And this pathway also involves novolipogenesis, which is essentially the creation of triglyceride fatty acids. Now, these triglycerides that are created are actually what are found in sebum. So as you eat more sugar, your body goes through this process and insulin increases, and therefore your skin responds because it now has the building blocks to create more sebum and the ideal environment to do so. The places that excess sugar can be found in healthy and unhealthy diets are things like pasta sauce, can be found in cereals, of course it can be found in sweets and candies, and it can even be found in some healthy foods such as fruit juice. Anything that does not have fiber bound to it is really kind of susceptible to being considered a processed sugar. A natural sugar is something that is found in the natural form. For instance, a fruit that has a lot of fiber in it, or even something like a muffin or banana bread that has bananas and dates as sugar, and some nice whole grain flour or almond flour, as opposed to a white flour or something like that that could be considered an excess sugar. So if you think this is a problem for you, of course you've heard it before, cut out candy, cut out soda, but even look at some of your healthy things like pasta sauce and see if you can make a healthy alternative. Again, a healthy alternative is the less processed, the better. The more it looks like it came out of the frickin' dirt, the better bet it's gonna be. And on top of that, if it is bound with more fiber, it's probably a safer bet. The next thing that might also be a shock is fats, and this actually can include healthy fats as well. We're not only talking about your trans fats, your saturated fats from animal products or from lard or from fried goods, but even some healthy fats such as omega-rich walnuts, chia seeds, and even avocados. Now the key here is in moderation. Depending on how much you're getting and what that balance is going to determine whether or not your skin is happy. I think that we all pretty much understand why some of the trans fats and saturated fats are really unhealthy for us, not only for our bodies and for our intervascular systems, but for our skin as well. But what about these healthy fats? Because that's a little bit scary, and we know we're supposed to eat them, but oh my god, they could be toxic or unhealthy as well. The key here is the ratio and the stability. For instance, omega-3, 6s, and 9s. The way these differ is in the number of bonds. Omega-9 has 9 bonds, omega-6 has 6, and omega-3s have 3. Now, if you look at an omega-9 bond, the more bonds it has, the more opportunities it has to break. Now, if an omega bond breaks, it's no longer a healthy omega fat. It actually becomes a rancid fat, which means a trans fat. And this is really scary, especially in the supplement industry. A lot of supplement manufacturers sell omega-9s, but if they're not stabilized, if they are not in a dark glass container, and if they're not protected from sunlight, from heat, and even from time, they could break some of those bonds and become trans fats, which are not healthy. You do want to make sure that you're getting a balance of omega-3, 6s, and 9s. That balance is going to be slightly different for every single person, but there is a general rule that you can follow. This will mean that your body is the most balanced. One condition that can come about from eating excess fats in any regard is intramyocellular lipids. Intramyocellular lipids. Try saying that 5 times fast. It's basically a condition where fats get into the muscle cells. And if you have fats in the muscle cells, it causes more insulin resistance, meaning your body doesn't respond to sugar as well. So you're going to need to eat more sugar in order to feel like your body ate sugar, and then your body isn't going to process it as well, having to create more insulin insulin than it actually needs. It's again a fat storing hormone, which then another process will come in to take down that blood sugar and could even cause fatigue. And it's this big, complex biological process that in the very end can again cause that issue of excess sebum in the skin, or even an imbalance in hormones such as testosterone, such as testosterone, estrogen, and a stress hormone called cortisol, which have all been linked to causing changes in the pituitary gland, which cause changes in the rest of the body, and the adrenal glands, which cause changes in the skin. And I will link you to some scientific papers that show all of these things, as well as some other YouTube videos that really explain it in depth, because if I keep blabbing, this video will be 2 hours long, and we're not here for a biology lesson. We're here to get our faces clear. The last type of food you want to avoid if you have acne is dairy. Dairy has been linked to acne in a variety of different ways, and one specifically is that it actually manipulates hormones, both testosterone and estrogen. Again, these are hormones that your body has that keeps it in balance. Your body wants to be in balance and it needs a healthy amount of both. But when those get out of whack is when acne starts to get out of whack. Sebum production is different, your inflammation levels are different, and your skin might be more prone to both clogging and to creating excess sebum and harboring more bacteria. In addition, many people are lactose intolerant. But for those who are lactose intolerant and for those who aren't, dairy has been shown to increase IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1, which is a very inflammatory compound. Animal-derived milks actually have IGF-1 in them, and many scientists think that when you even just drink that milk contains this IGF-1, which is increasing those levels. There is also a pathway in which the body responds to the ingestion of milk, which increases IGF-1. But either way, dairy has been shown to manipulate our hormones, our insulin, and again, create more sebum. When it comes to dairy consumption, I really believe that that was a huge factor in my acne, in my personal genetics. There's another vegan blogger on YouTube named Brian Turner who is amazing. He's actually a bodybuilder, and he spoke about how dairy, specifically whey protein, had an impact on his acne. And another girl that I love watching here on YouTube is Sarah Kay, and she went vegan for a while and her skin really improved, and she's dealt with a lot of issues both with dairy and with personal stress. If you think dairy might be something you want to cut out for health reasons, for skin reasons, for the environment, for the animals, or for a combination of those, you might want to look at alternatives. For instance, I love drinking almond milk and coconut milk. Even if you go to Starbucks, you can just get your latte or whatever you're going to get with almond or coconut, and almost every single restaurant has them as alternatives. If you cook a lot with butter, there are spreads like Earth Balance, and if you are a cheese connoisseur, which trust me is the hardest part of adopting a plant-based diet for everyone, including myself, including my mom, including all of my friends who have ever tried to cut out dairy, cheese is like the #1 nemesis, but there are some amazing alternatives. And I feel like for those who incorporate them slowly, it tends to work out a lot better. There's a really great brand here in California called Kite Hill, which makes the best cream cheese ever. My non-vegan and non-dairy free friends and family think that it is literally cream cheese. There's a brand of cheese called Miyakos, which is really good and it's so tasty on crackers. If you want really melty cheeses, like for pizza or something, try nacho or a cheddar from a brand like Daya, or even better, a brand called Follow Your Heart. These melt really well. And especially if you're transitioning, if you just eat them like plain, you're gonna be like, ugh, that doesn't taste like cheese. But try mixing them in little by little. For instance, on your nachos, put half of the cheese you're used to and half of the dairy-free alternative, or on your pizza. And slowly you can incorporate these changes so you don't notice, but so that your body responds and your skin responds better. And you can transition to a food that is less expensive, better for the environment, better for the animals, better for your face, better for your stomach, better for all of it, y'all. I know for a fact that diet had a huge impact on my acne, and I know that it has for a lot of other people as well. When you think about it, we start off as these small little babies. We're like, what, 8 pounds, 10 pounds if you or me? We come flying out of our moms, and from this little baby, we become these gigantic human beings. And what got us from here to here? Literally eating, drinking, sleeping, and pooping. So for anyone who has told me that diet does not affect acne, I truly believe that what I put into my mouth 3 times a day is what my body uses to regenerate cells and to create itself. And if I don't put good things in, probably not gonna get the best stuff out. And that's my personal philosophy. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you haven't looked into diet as a cause or contributor to your acne, you might wanna explore it. Try cutting out or managing each one of these food groups separately for a month. And if it doesn't work, go back to eating them. No harm, no foul. Either way, if you learned something here or if you enjoy the science part of these kinds of videos, give me a thumbs up so that I know. And if you like what you saw, be sure to hit subscribe and the ding dong bell button. Try to post videos every Monday and every Thursday, but sometimes my computer explodes and sometimes I'm jet lagged and sometimes I just have way too much fun cuddling my cats and lose track of time. So if you hit that notification bell button, YouTube will tell you when I actually post and upload. So that way you'll know, even when I don't know. Great! I love you and your beautiful face so much, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.